When president of Sega, Shuichiro Irimajiri, chose Oji Hirai's Red Company for its newest foray into adventure gaming, they had no idea how impactful that choice would be. Spawning a new media empire for the masses of Japan, the franchise was quickly surpassing the series that had headlined consoles before it. Who knew a crazy series about robots and demons could become such a phenomenon? Sakura Shinjuichi was soon becoming an icon for a new age of Sega. A strong female character was quickly overtaking the popularity of the edgy and hip hedgehog that had made the company what it is today. But with this rousing success came a question: could it be done again? Or was this achievement just a fluke? Could Sega and Red Company make lightning strike twice? With a release day sellout and a total run of 550,000 copies, it was clear to Sega that a sequel to this newly beloved property needed to be made. But games take time to make, and the company needed a way to keep the hype going. So it was time to expand into other territories of media. Their first foray into another medium came with the release of the prequel OVA, or original video animation, Okukenran, or Cherry Blossom Magnificence. Coming out between December 1997 and July 1998 in order to keep fans interested before the second game's release, Okukenran would give further insight into the characters' backstories that are not explained in the games, such as how Sakura and Sumire came to join the Flower Troop, among other tales. This, and the other eventual anime adaptations, came to introduce the rest of the world to the Sakura Wars series. While popular in Japan itself, after being released and localized by ADV Films worldwide, the series soon gained traction in America and Europe. While fans in Japan knew the cast because of the games, if you asked someone in America, they might say they watched the anime. The fantastic late 90s animation, voices, music, and storytelling made the Sakura Wars anime eminently enjoyable, whether you knew their context from the games or not. As fans began to emerge from the woodwork from each side of the pond, the first of these works was Sakura Wars Hanagumi Taisen Columns. Released in 1997 as an apparent cash grab from the other video game crazes of the 90s, Tetris and Columns, it was actually a surprisingly well put together product. On the surface, it had the standard falling blocks puzzle gameplay of Tetris, with a Sakura Wars flair. However, there were a few changes. For one, a story mode was included. It follows one of the 6 heroes in a similar style to the main games, with lips dialogue choices in tow, along with little chibi versions of the characters, reacting to the match and competing against each other for glory. A Cinderella mode was also included, allowing you to pit each of the girls against each other for the role of Cinderella in a play. With similar dedication to the main series, Hanagumi Taisen Columns would become an interesting side addition to the series at large. With Hanagumi Taisen Columns' small success, many other side projects came to fruition. One such addition had become just as, if not more popular, than the franchise proper. Starting in 1997, a full-length, semi-annual Sakura Wars stage show went into production. Pulling from the plays that had already existed within the games, the show fully realized the theater aspect of the franchise, giving the voice actors a wide breadth for their vocal range. Donning the garbs of their in-game personas, the group, eventually including Ogami's voice actor himself, turned into a true musical theater troupe, performing plays, from comedies to tragedies, along with fully vocalized renditions of the series' themes, such as the famous Geki Tekkokekken. The popularity of these plays could be played up to Japan's rampant Sakutai frenzy, but is more likely another testament to the talent involved in the project, as the actors were quickly becoming as popular as the characters that they portrayed. Even years after the series has passed on, the stage show continues to press onward towards even greater heights. The culmination of the nation's rapid interest in the series came with the Taisho Ramondo, running for nearly a decade between 1998 and 2008. This dedicated Sakura Wars shop and cafe operated daily in Ikebukuro, Tokyo. The store, a Sakura Wars fan's dream, was crammed to the brim with merchandise, organized by each hero of course. Human-sized statues of the characters in Kobu were on display, with the staff wearing Sakutai cosplay and apprehensively declining to be photographed. At the cafe, a small menu of tenuously designed character-themed sweets and drinks were available. The shop's dedication to the series could not last, however. As a decade in, it had to be closed down. These multitudes of side distractions have been hyping up the true reason eager fans were waiting for: the inevitable sequel. Beginning production immediately after Sakura Wars' success, Hiroi and his team were put in a difficult position of creating a second smash hit. But how to improve on perfection? To Red Company, it had to start with a name. Instead of just titling it the ordinary moniker of 2, the team gave it the subtitle of Kimi Shintamato Koto Nakari, or Beloved, You Must Not Die, named after the controversial wartime poem by Akiko Yasano, made during the Russo-Japanese War in the early 1900s. The poem served as a form of anti-war protest in response to the bloody massacre during the siege of Port Arthur. The history of the poem gave credence to Hiroi's romanticized vision of Taisho-era Japan, so the name stuck, starting the trend of subtitling the series after poems that still exist to this day. With the tone of the game set, it was time to drum up a new story. It would seem like your standard sequel fare. Our hero Ogami had been away training in South America for a year, and had just returned to Japan, in time to face a renewed and more powerful Blackness Society, with new arrivals Orihime and Reni along for the ride, with the original cast in tow. Just like before, it was now up to the 9-member Flower Troop to save the capital once again. But the surface of the sequel was deceiving the darker portions in the depths below. Death and rebirth became constant themes throughout, and characters crucial to the plot could face one or the other. Politics were also introduced into the fray, with the very idea of the Hanagumi being threatened. Story also took center stage. Whereas in the previous game, character stories were on their own, separated from the plot. This time, the two became intertwined and essential to each other. The Sakura Wars franchise had truly grown up with its fans over the past 2 years, giving them the darker and more plot-driven version that they needed. The scale of the game had also been increased lengthwise too, occupying 3 discs instead of 2. Even a Hot Springs Vacation was included, a Japanese staple. Because of this, it was now possible for the Sega Saturn to read your save data from the original Sakura Wars, unlocking new scenes, allowing you to continue to cultivate your relationship with whichever hero you've picked thus far. A feature like this was revolutionary for its time, and was not seen for many years since. The game's systems also received further refinement from the formulas introduced in the original. The lip system is back, with several improvements and additions. For one, the conversation mode is introduced, involving you going back and forth between the characters until a situation is resolved or falls apart. Another type changes your options halfway through, making your decisions all the more difficult. One more gives you an overarching time limit that counts down while you deal with several individual timed lips choices. All these, along with the original system, are overshadowed by the new personality gauge. Tracking your progress from the bottom right-hand corner, the personality gauge shifts from red to blue depending on your actions to certain choices. Different characters prefer you to behave in different ways. Will you be a kind and gentle captain, or a strict and stern one? Neither is right or wrong. Combat also received its own improvements within the game. The gameplay had been immensely sped up from the original. Battles flow more fluidly than ever before, with 3D cut-ins to the 2D fights. being ever present. Active characters in battle show a full high-res bust, broken out of the UI, rather than a tiny character portrait. The Kobu themselves have also received an upgrade to the Kobu Kai, or Warrior of Light, revised, slightly souped up, and more badass versions of the originals. A new feature is also added to spice up the gameplay. The command option allows you to change the way your team members fight in 4 distinct ways. Do you prefer to go on the defensive and forego offense? Then mountain is your preferred way of fighting. These new options added a new layer of tacticality to the series, giving the player more options than ever before. These grandiose improvements seemed like a shoo-in for the success of the sequel. All Sega had to do was release it onto the hungering masses, and watch how they responded. Releasing for the Sega Saturn in April of 1998, the critically and commercially acclaimed sequel sold a mind-blowing 530,000 units, making it one of the best-selling Sega Saturn games of all time, right next to the original. The original Sakura Wars wasn't just a fluke, it was a storm waiting to happen. A media storm like none other. Placing itself among the likes of other 90s hit franchises, such as Pokemon and Sega's very own Sonic the Hedgehog, Sakura Wars fever had spread throughout Japan and showed no signs of stopping. From anime to stage shows, from side projects to the main series itself, the appeal of the franchise seemed to have no bounds in Japan and even the outside world. A certain joy can be seen permeating the series, reflecting a sense of confidence in their abilities on part of the creators, as if they were certain they were onto something. 3D animated cherry blossom petals blow past. Characters are more expressive than ever before, giving them a sense of realism. The artists that had created them have come to love and care for them as if they were good old friends. The actors that had played out these roles had truly become these characters, turning them into the icons that they had become. This love and compassion for the series would continue to drive the team at Red Company to new and greater heights. But one question remained: how long could this dream truly last? Tune in next time to see the dream begin anew. Well, hello my fellow Naganeers. I just wanted to say thank you. Seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart for liking, commenting, and giving me all your constructive criticism down below. I want to make this series great, and the only way I can do that is with your help. So to do that, please like and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to click the playlist for the series if you need catching up on my redone version of the first episode. Anyway, that's it from me. Continue to stay awesome, viewer, and continue the thirst for knowledge.